You're watching the first episode of the World of Airsoft. Today I will be showing you, talking about paintball versus airsoft, the basics of airsoft, safety, and training stats and ideas. First of all, in paintball versus airsoft, the advantage with airsoft to paintball is you don't ruin your clothes with tons of paint on them, and Uh, one of the aspects that some people will say makes it less manly, you could say, is that it doesn't hurt as much because the projectiles that you shoot out of the airsoft guns are smaller than paintballs. Um, 6mm, actually, I have some right here. These are 20 gram BBs. Um, Middle weight, there's 12 gram, uh, 25 gram, as well as 20 gram, as I just showed you. Here is a BB in my hand. Very hard to see because they're only 6mm when the paintballs are about half an inch, which would make them about a 12 or 13mm projectile. With airsoft, you can roleplay in a game instead of just being in an open field with some obstacles and some barriers, shooting at the other team. In airsoft, you can strategically place your men or anything because there's a variety from pistols, uh, rifles, to even mounted machine guns that you can get, which are very expensive, I might add. You also can, in airsoft, easily play in the woods. It's very easy to find ghillie suits used in airsoft because most professional or just regular players wear full military camo. Um, Basics of airsoft. Um, First of all, you need to know the 4 or 5, I forget, different ways to have an airsoft gun. First, there is electric, and there are different ways to have an electric, different levels of power and uh, such and such. Then there is spring, which the only disadvantage to it is you have to cock it each shot. The two pistols I have are spring, so after each pull of the trigger, you have to cock the slide back to fire another round off. Um, the advantage to springs are they have a lot more power than electrics, but CO2, which is another version, uh, are a lot better because they shoot fully automatic or semi-automatic or both, and they have about as much power or more to spring. The only disadvantage to those are that you have to refill the CO2 canisters like paintball, and they do hurt a lot more, but you can't use them very well in the cold. That's another issue soft, which is one of the few issues that I find, is you cannot play in the rain or in the snow. Because if your airsoft guns get wet, the springs and the electric abilities are going to make the gun parts rust and jam. The CO2 are okay, but you have to keep them warm somehow, but they're inside the gun, so it's very hard to do that. Um, Now, safety. Uh, I highly recommend playing airsoft with goggles. If you do not play with goggles, you can easily put an eye out, and I'm not saying this from the Christmas Story, but you can easily shoot your eye out. Now, paintball, you obviously know you have masks, and I have heard from some people who I think are uneducated in the ways of airsoft and paintball that the reason you wear a paintball mask is because it hurts a lot in your face, which is true. But you need one because if it hits you in the eye, it can put your eye out. And if you shoot somebody directly in the ear, it can damage their ear. You also, if you are playing with high powered guns, you would you want to wear full padding. Um, if you have sniper rifles in the game, or just very high-powered rifles and pistols, you want to wear vests and padded pants. Vests you can buy at places like airsplat.com. You can easily go to Airsoft. They range from $20 to 80 or 90. Um, Tactical vests are used. Most of them have holsters and then pockets, so you can have your magazines all over your chest for your pistols and your rifles. Um, with training, what you can easily do is take cardboard and draw targets on them. What I like to do is just draw something like a body or something, or my sister. Um, she doesn't like that very much, but you can easily just put a regular target or um, draw a body so then you know the mass of the targets that you're going to be firing on. What I recommend is taking shots lying down, crouching, and standing up because you can try the different ways you can go into a battle and you can figure out how you're more accurate with whatever rifle. For beginners, I recommend getting basic airsoft guns with at least 150 to 200 FPS, which is feet per second, and that's the rating of power. Now, 150 is, 200 is okay. Some of the rifles I have now are about 300 FPS, and I have 8 rifles, or 8 guns, 2 pistols, and 6 rifles, but none of them are completely good. They're mostly full hard plastic. Um, what I am planning on doing is I'm saving up my money for an M14, which is full metal with 330 FPS. The mags are full metal, high cap magazines, which holds 450 rounds. You can go to airsplat.com and find it for $100, and the magazines are 10. Now, the problem with full metal is that they're very heavy, obviously, so it makes you more tired and just very hard to keep accurate sometimes. Um, I have one rifle that is broken. I took it out and didn't charge the battery, but I fired off it for a while, and that kind of overheated the battery and fried it. So when you get an electric, what you want to do is charge it for the full time that the instructions say, and you should really read the instructions. But when you charge it, leave it overnight so then you don't have to wait for it and be bored. Then the next morning it should be all ready, and then you can charge it, shoot in any order you want, as long as the battery has power. Um, so that's about the end of the first episode of The World of Airsoft. You can leave me a message, quote, at my video. Next episode I'll be doing some statistics on power to accuracy ratio, and I'll also show you some of my guns and where to buy. So tune in next week, I hope, for the next episode. I'll see you then. Sweet. Nash.